Hat, sunglasses, Pepsi, notes, sources, thick skin, check. You already know. Let's go. Welcome to Golden Blue today, everybody. This is a college football channel. So if you like college football, hit the like and subscribe button. It's that simple. Also, send gear to represent your team and be a part of my background forever. All you have to do is send it to P.O. Box 360, Liberty, South Carolina 29657. You know, snakes come in all shapes, sizes, and colors. We all know that. In life, they come in all kinds of packages. You never know when you're dealing with the snake until you start putting heat on it, until you start putting pressure on it, until you smoke them out. Then you start to figure and realize where the snakes are. And it seems like West Virginia had a snake for an athletic director when it comes to Shayne Lyons. I saw an interview earlier today that somebody did with Shayne Lyons. I think it was 247 Sports. And the stuff that he said about West Virginia, I am not happy about, guys. I'm not happy at all. Basically, everything that good happened, whatever that was his idea. And anything that bad happened, he had nothing to do with. A narcissist. He sounds like a narcissist. So it looks like West Virginia didn't make him sign a non-disparaging contract whenever they fired him. So he's saying a bunch of bad stuff about West Virginia. Well, guess what, Shayne Lyons? I didn't sign a non-disparaging contract with you, so brace yourself. It's coming. So here's what the interview was about and what he said in this interview. First, he talked about when he was fired, how he was fired, and who fired him. Here was his reaction. Obviously, I'm disappointed. The loyalty to the same people. There will be bitterness there. He just stated it. He's bitter. There will be bitterness there. Said he considered them to be friends, but since he got fired, he's going to be bitter. Hey, this is why you don't hire your friends, because sometimes they don't do a good job, and you're going to have to fire them, and they're going to hold bitterness. Oh, I thought we were friends. Well, that has nothing to do with the job that you were doing. If you're doing a bad job, then you got to be fired. It has nothing to do with being friends. He goes on to say, yes, Gordon Gee and Rob Alslop, which is the interim AD, was a part of it. They called themselves friends, and they blindsided me. Yeah, you didn't see it coming because the football program was doing so great. That's not the way I do business. To my knowledge, the Board of Governors was not the ones to make this decision. The decision was made from a campus level and was taken to the board. So he's saying the Board of Governors didn't make the decision, but obviously they approved it. So I don't know what you're trying to say there, Shayne Lyons, but they still approved it, meaning, yeah, we're okay with that. Give it the go-ahead. Go do it. So they wanted you fired. Even though they didn't make the decision, they okayed the decision. So I don't know what you're trying to say right there. He goes on to say, it was a complete surprise. 2 weeks ago, I have a text message saying, I know there's a lot of pressure on us, talking about Gordon Gee and himself, Shayne Lyons, with the football program. And I wouldn't want to be in the foxhole with anyone but you. Why you're sharing text messages, I don't know. I mean, this goes back to the childish bitterness that you were talking about earlier. But he was trying to be a friend to you, but ultimately the decision was made, hey, the football program is headed in the wrong direction. Shayne Lyons has stated he will not fire Neil Brown before 2026 no matter what. So you actually put yourself in that position, buddy. He says, I just got a new contract in January. I got an evaluation in June that was glowing. What has changed? Football program wasn't winning, and a fan base that was pretty riled up about it. Okay, so now he's going to blame the fan base. That's right. It's our fault. Well, I'll take the blame because guess what, Shayne Lyons? You made some terrible decisions. To extend Neil Brown after 2020, one season, 6-4. It's not like we went undefeated or one loss or won the Big 12 or went to a New Year's Six Bowl or went to the playoffs or went to the national championship or won a national championship. We went 6-4 because we beat Army in the Liberty Bowl. That was not a good reason to extend Neil Brown and give him a raise, a guaranteed contract, a big-time buyout. That was a stupid, stupid decision. That was on you. And I understand you're saying that everybody agreed with you on that one. I understand that. That's a conversation for a different day. But guess what? You went back off of it. You said you weren't going to fire him no matter what. So they had to fire you. And here's what he said about extending Neil Brown, talking about Neil Brown. That was not a decision made in a vacuum, meaning a decision that wasn't made just by him. He said that President Gordon Gee, interim AD Rod Alsop, Board of Governors, and the chairman David Alvarez all signed off on it. So once again, he's backing that up. Everybody signed off on it. It wasn't just him. My gosh. Talk about accountability. This guy has zero accountability. He doesn't take the blame. Oh, no, it was everybody else. It wasn't me. Yeah, okay, that's why you're the one that's fired, right? Oh, that's right, you're bitter because you were all friends. Then he took a shot at West Virginia University itself. There is a difference between the NIL and fundraising. And according to Title IX, for fundraising, every university must match dollar for dollar. Whatever you give to the males, you also have to give to the females. That is separate from the NIL. The Country Roads Trust was created for the NIL. Now, it leans heavily towards the male athletes because football is what takes the most money. You have to get a lot of money to attract these athletes in football, and that's basically what this was designed for. It's not a fundraiser. The Country Roads Trust was created separately for the NIL. It was not created and funded by a university. It is a separate entity. It has no connection with Title IX. But Shayne Lyons says that promoting the Country Roads Trust Fund, which of course leans more towards male athletes because it's more football related, could be in violation of Title IX. If it was university fundraising, yes, 100%, that would be in violation of Title IX because the university itself has to match dollar for dollar both male and female athletes. But whenever it comes to the NIL, separate entities, that entity was created for the NIL, and the NIL is primarily focused on college football. Two separate things. I know the line can get a little bit murky, but that's the best way I can explain it. This is not a fundraiser created and funded by the university. This is a whole separate entity. What Shayne Lyons is saying is that anybody that's employed by the university that even speaks on it could be in violation of Title IX. Now you're trying to start some gray areas to where some people could get in trouble if they even speak about it, even though they're not funding it and putting any type of money towards it. They're just talking about it because football is big time. Football is what makes the money, and West Virginia needs something to help with the NIL, and that's exactly what the Country Roads Trust does for West Virginia. So he's flat out trying to throw the entire university under the bus and get us in trouble. It's funny how he didn't mention anything about that while he was the actual athletic director. That seems just a little... Now, once he's fired, promoting that, since it leans heavily more towards male athletes, that could be a violation of Title IX. You weren't talking about it when you were the athletic director, but now your mouth can't stop. That's because you knew it was two separate things not worth talking about. But the bitterness in your heart and the childishness that you're approaching this situation with is making you just talk out of both sides of your mouth. Just to play devil's advocate, just for a minute, let's say that Shayne Lyons is correct and that these figures talking about the Country Roads Trust is in violation of Title IX. Who is the athletic director that was there, that knew about all this, that was letting it happen, that said nothing at the time, that would probably be held most accountable for everything? That would still be you, Shayne Lyons. So you know you're lying, you know you're making stuff up, you know it's legal, but you're being so childish that you're trying to make stuff up. Then of course the big question. If you were still the athletic director at West Virginia, would Neal Brown keep his job? Here was his answer. If I was still sitting in the chair today, yeah. There's your answer. Yeah. Not maybe, not it depends. Yeah. He goes on to say, I would. So he backs it up. I would. I think he checks all the boxes we're looking for in a head coach. Unfortunately, the big box is he needs to win more football games. I believe that's coming in the future. So there you go. This is what everything centers around. He would not back off his contract extension choice of Neal Brown. And now he's saying, yes, if he was still the athletic director, Neal Brown would have a future at West Virginia. That's why you are fired. You're literally proving why you were fired. So you, sir, are a narcissist. You're blaming everybody else for your decisions, for your problems, and you're trying to create controversy and trouble for a university just because they fired you. They're saying, oh, I thought they were my friends. Well, they still might be your friends. But hey, if you weren't doing the job, then they had to fire you. You can fire a friend and still stay friends as long as you're firing them for the right reason. And to my knowledge, West Virginia is firing Shayne Lyons for the right reason. He absolutely would not come off of that contract extension for Neal Brown and say no, he would not fire him. I mean, we got a clear answer. Yes, I would. So there you go. That's the real reason why you were fired. Why you're trying to throw everybody else under the bus blows my mind. But I'm telling you what, it really ticked me off, and I really had to do this video because you're trying to murky the waters. You're trying to make Gordon Gee, Rob Alsop, and everybody else that helped make this decision look bad because you're mad about it. Time to grow up. People get hired. People get fired. It is a part of life. And and you landed a job at Alabama, so why you're acting this way, I have no idea. You have some issues, buddy. You have some issues. Y'all let me know in the comments section. Now, do you think that it was the right decision for West Virginia to fire Shayne Lyons? For me, it reaffirms it. But there were some people that were on the fence. Maybe this would swing you towards, yes, this was absolutely the right decision by West Virginia University. And give me your opinion on Shayne Lyons' attack on Gordon Gee, Alsop, and West Virginia University as a whole, even the fan base. Remember, he attacked the fan base as well. That's all I got for this show. Like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you on my next show.